Hello YouTube and welcome back to the channel here today. Today we're going to be tackling 2 more episodes of Mobile Suit Gundam, The Witch from Mercury, of course, or G-Witch, you know, which I said I was going to say from now on in, but I didn't. Either way, we're back here today for a couple more episodes after last week's introduction, I guess. Just right off the bat, thank you for the support on this series thus far. It's done very well on Patreon. I'm going to imagine it's going to do pretty well when it goes public as well, so shoutouts to that. Thank you for the support and all that kind of stuff. The next one would be diving into the YouTube comments, which I have up here somewhere. Where's my button? There it is. Which I have a bit to talk about, which is a nice surprise. I like that. And a lot of this is going to be predicated on my questions about should I know more about Gundam going into this thing? And broadly the answer is no. Broadly this is separate from other stuff, but again a lot of stuff from that universe is reused across all of its different entries. I'll let the comments explain for me because they do a pretty good job because, you know, they know what they're talking about. Starting here with Pencil Sharp with the caveat that they've only watched this, whatever that is. It's a continuous timeline from the original called Universal Century. Non-UC entries like G-Witch are in alternate universes, which reuse some elements of the setting. The common elements include war fought with mobile suits, the protagonist using a special one called a Gundam, silly character names, Harrow, the spherical robot. Do I remember a spherical robot? Maybe I do. Probably. Conflict between Earth and space dwellers, and selling mountains of gunpla. Because we can't forget the mecha people. They go crazy for that kind of stuff, for sure. So yes, it seems like we have a true story going on, which is a continuous narrative, and then we do side alternate universe stuff which isn't occurring at the same time. I don't need to know any other characters, only other stuff like that from other entries to understand what's going on here. We'll get more into that as we continue, of course, but Lazy Joe, next comment here. This was the missing link for me. I think somebody told me on Discord as well. This was the one thing that I missed in my kind of research at the start of last week's recording. Ichiro Okochi, let's say that. He's worked on Revolutionary Girl Utena on some adaptations for light novels. So, pretty integrally, you know, involved there, producing stuff that is published in the Revolutionary Girl Utena universe that is official media. It makes sense that if he was going to move on and do something else, that it would take a lot of elements from Revolutionary Girl Utena as well. We say here the influence is undeniable, and I'm going to agree. It's almost insane. I'm probably going to be a broken record throughout this whole series about saying how much it is like Utena. Similarly, people are saying that this takes place in its own continuity, don't need to know any of the other stuff, that's good. And yeah, with its female protagonist, a first for TV series Gundam. Wow. A cute character design and great production values. G-Witch did a great job of introducing a new generation of fans into the Gundam franchise, for sure. I think that this is definitely leaning more casual as we move forward. It's interesting that this seems to be almost a directive from whoever owns Gundam at the moment, Sunrise or whatever you want to say there, because of the new one. The new one that's coming out this year. It's called like G Quacks or some shit. Because that's looking for a broader audience than just mecha fans. You know what I mean? And this is very similar in that regard. We're trying to bring new people into the series. That seems to be a directive. In a similar space, we have Fusel here with their comment. Which from Mercury is standalone. Don't need to know anything else, but it's probably not fully representative of the whole franchise regardless. From what I understand about the franchise, this is definitely true as well. And some people take umbrage with this, I guess, which I've seen online for sure. Next up, we have a couple of comments from Bamps. First one is question marking Gund tech in space. Without stuff like gravity, the human body doesn't really develop / work properly. You're going to need some physical therapy to be able to live properly on a planet. I believe somebody linked something about what astronauts need to do before they go up to the International Space Station. They need like specific stuff done to them to be able to like fucking live. So again, take that to the nth degree, sci-fi it up a little bit. That's definitely the concept we're going for here and why Gund tech is important. And again, from what I understand, the next step in Gund tech was going to be whatever that Gundam was, whatever Ariel / Elfrith was. So again, that got destroyed for reasons. Part of the reasons probably being something earthy and spacian, right? We went into it last week for sure. Next up is Gund. From the moment I understood the weakness of my flesh, it disgusted me. I craved the strength and certainty of steel. I aspired to the purity of the blessed machine. I had no idea what this was, so I googled it. It seems to be a Warhammer 40k thing. I have friends that are into 40k, I don't know what that is. But Hey, sure, go off, I guess. Seems to be like a transhumanism type beat. I don't know, we're gonna say. And last comment here today, and certainly the longest, from Ragashingo. First off, going into that same topic we've covered already, the link to other Gundam shows, not really at all. Specifically saying we're setting this in the Ad Stella story universe as opposed to the Universal Century and After Colony stuff. So it's a new universe entirely. There are definitely homages to other Gundam shows here, and it's a long-time franchise. Fans will pick up on stuff and that kind of stuff, but plot and character-wise, you don't need to know anything. Yeah, so this was hard for me as an outsider. I was like, okay, so what's the difference between like a mobile suit and a Gundam, and picking up on the difference there, right? So mobile suits are the things that most people use in the show. They're the big robots that people can pilot and so forth. Gundams are the special mobile suits controlled with upscaled applications of the Gund prosthetic technology that both increases their combat potential in various ways, but is also dangerous to the pilot. Note that this specific terminology is specific to the G-Witch universe, not particularly applicable to other stuff which may have different rules about what goes on there, but Gundam sounds like you're the chosen one, or at least the group of people around you are the chosen ones, and again, that's how, a protagonist has a special power. It's not exactly Shakespeare or anything, A key thing that the prologue presents is that Gundams already exist and have already been used in wars. That's why we had the news reports of several pilots disabled or dying from Gundams, why we saw protests on the street versus Gundams, why those in power in the prologue acted like they had the moral right to eliminate Gundam development, and even had a mobile suit with Gundam neutralizing technologies. Yeah, this last one's very interesting and makes it all sound like a little bit of an inside job, no? At least a little bit. So again, imagining where we're at in the timeline now after episode 1 is like nobody's seen a Gundam, proper Gundam technology stuff in years. It's been at least a decade since we saw that kind of stuff. So if we've eliminated Gundams by law, then we've eliminated them by law. Which begs the question, why don't we just fucking arrest Soletta now? But I don't think you can, based on her status as the holder or whatever. So she has a lot of power now. If she was to lose said power, lose her grip on said power, potentially the powers that be could then take her out. A lot of Gundam shows deal with space versus Earthians, that whole conflict that we talked about. Generally an economic mix to it as well. Capitalism, you know how it goes with this kind of sci-fi things. Various shows mix it up a little bit, but it's generally a common theme across the franchise. Just don't take, again, G-Witch's word as bond if you were to continue to other stuff. I've got nothing for specific tomato metaphors in G-Witch, but I really enjoy the tomato kinship between G-Witch, Symphogear, and Revue Starlight. There's definitely memes going around swapping the characters. It's time to go to your next stage, Soletta, etc. Shoutouts to Revue Starlight. Good show. Really, really good show. Yeah, again, we went into it last week. Tomatoes and Revue Starlight, yeah, very, very cool. And again, that's just all extended off the Utena Egg stuff, right? Kinda, I think a little bit. Yeah, very, very cool. Alright, we'll close off there for today on the YouTube comments, and we'll pop over to the patrons and give them a shout out. Also, I'll give us a little bit of a catch up to where we are in the plot. For the uninitiated, I currently have a Patreon. If you wanted the next video 1 week early, that is certainly within your grasp to do so. $6 a month, everything on the channel 1 week early, exclusive voting rights in polls. I'll probably take your opinions more seriously than other people. I don't know, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, so again, the world's your oyster if you wanted to do that kind of stuff. Many people have done this, up to and including Mickey Babbers, Trials Plus Plus, / Banana Ramahama Damasama, Bobbin, Chobo Ruby, Dapper Dwarf, Domobot, Ed, Fancy Question Mark, Ferdinand Hernando, Fleur Nightingale, Fruit, Fusel, Gloriana Tenebrae, Glyke, Greybeard, Gus N, Hans Peter, Ika, Iria, Yako Yavnen, Jacob R, Joran, Kelvin, Clem, Nosta, Cot Begemot, Lick H, Lou, Master Detective, Mistake L Chen, Molly Weinberger, Mr. Maniacs, Nico Lane, Parnik, Pencil Sharp 333, Ragashingo, Ronlad BNK, Saint Lily, Sal, Sam1373, Skeleton, Fueco, Warp V, Without a Net, Yuan Shu, Yuki Ali, Zach, Akomancer, Binshi, Hans Peter, Voodoo Chili, Funny Fat Guy, Ice, Koichi Kaito, Matthew Bradshaw, and Ron Tiki. Thank you to everybody for giving me money. I like the money. Catching us back up to where we are. It's essentially Utena. Like, we have Miorine, she's like the bride. She's currently the daughter of, what was his name? Delcaddy or something? I don't think that was it. His name was Delling. She's the daughter of Delling. Delling's very powerful. He's head of like the organization. Back in the day, he literally called for the elimination of like what were they called? I don't know. They were developing the gun technology. They seemed to be from Earth, Ox Earth, and the other company they'd combined. He kind of eliminated that whole people in the process, killing the father of Eri. And again, there was some stuff which I was unsure about whether Eri equals Soletta. I'm 99% sure that's the case, but I'm just watching it. That opening made me question things, I guess. Either way, Dad's dead. Mum hasn't been seen since either. Soletta then got sent to school. She's the holder now, based on the events of the first episode, of Miorine's hand in marriage. They're essentially... She gained a wife. And yeah, from there, I think the show's going to take a little bit more of a rote structure, whereby we're going to have these people that are de facto student council type people, very important characters, have character designs, probably have their own little stuff going on, clearly attached to bigger, more important families within the holding group of whatever the company was, so sure. And they're going to want to battle for the hand in marriage, for also the control of the company, right? And that's going to lead to fights. We're going to funnel into a pretty... normal structure now, you would think. Either way, there's only one way to find out. Let's jump into episode 2 of G-Witch. Sounds like a plan. Yeah, let's go. Rightio, episode 2 of G-Witch up there, ready to go. 24 minutes and 8 seconds on this one, so sync up accordingly with your own copy. Now, the copy that I have has changed. I think the file sizes were just ridiculous, basically, right? It's like 167 gigabytes for the whole thing or something. That's... No, what are we doing? Especially when I'm going to be compressing it to shit anyway. This is just like it's your subs please equivalent. I believe it's Judas, so should be very similar to the subs that are available on streaming and that kind of thing. Just the quality may be slightly worse. I don't even know if you guys are going to notice it, if I'm honest. Maybe most of that stuff is the FLAC as well, now that I'm thinking about it, so audio may be different too. Either way, should be easy enough. Picture-in-picture version in the description below. Let's give this thing a 3, 2, 1. Radio, 3, 2, 1, go. And I'm believing this is just... Yeah, like from last week. Gotcha. Loud show, no? Yeah, a little bit. Should I read that book? Maybe. Oh, there's the ball thing, maybe. Yeah, okay, that's what the comments were talking about. Interesting. So they're figuring this out now. Correct. Oh. What? Okay. Now, is this the opening we saw last week? It's the song. Nah, this is different. Interesting, so maybe that was unique last week. Kind of the one with, Soletta and, like, little Soletta, or Eri, whatever you want to call her. Yeah, I told you the pink-haired character would be a thing. You guys didn't believe me. I wouldn't imagine they're buddy-buddy immediately, though. She seemed like she was a little bit combative. Sick. We'll see. Just something like the framing. It's fucking with me. I'm talking about Eri being Soletta or something. We'll see. But it has to be. It wouldn't make any sense if it wasn't. Anyway, we'll leave it. We'll let the show do its thing. At Mercury, you reckon? Oh! The feds. Interesting. So they've realized what kind of vehicle it is, I think. Or what kind of suit. The president, like your father? Interesting. I thought that should have some impunity based on her position. Lagrange? By the agreement. Ah. Don't throw the iPad around, dude. Come on now. Is that what we're calling witches? Okay. Okay. Interesting. 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 Okay, so we're just like taking away their victory? Somebody else's prize. You probably shouldn't be saying that. What is this, Danganronpa? We'll see. An Earthian? Okay. Hold up. That's not normally your style, Ellen. No. I mean, okay, that's set up to fail. Alright. Ellen. Who the hell are you freaks? Oh yeah, I know you. Okay. But again, this guy seemed more redeemable, I thought. Well, he's ashamed. You guys are haters. No! My husband, my groom. Don't touch my tomatoes now. Come on. Huh. Dude, the ranking system's fucked up. Correct. Choo Choo? There's about 1 trillion characters. And you guys are like the nerds. What? Bro, I want to kill all these people. We need to get some guns. No, that sounded bad. We're not going to do any school shootings. They need to be put in their place, though. Don't come to the academy tomorrow. That's terrible. Oh, Dellinger. Look at her. She's like, yeah. That's great. Oto-sama. Huh? Interesting. I forgot to mention last week, there was a heavy implication that she was dead. So, I didn't pick that up until the edit, I guess. Who the fuck are you? Also, I do like the zero gravity. It's very fun. She's a gamer? Hell yeah. Correct. I'm also in the bathroom. Who the hell are you? Well, I mean, yeah, let's go to Earth. The next stage? Oh my god. I will say the plot's gone in a different direction than I expected. What's happening? But I mean, here's my thing, right? We have an opening that's set in the school, so like this can't be successful. These men kind of suck. Bang. Do not let it happen again. Interesting. Yeah, we keep bringing this person up. Who's it gonna be? Shinsei? Who the fuck is this? Okay. Where? And they're from Mercury, right? What the fuck happened on Mercury? Yes, talk to me more about your mother. Oh, hello. Elan. Okay. Looks like airplane food. I wouldn't be too happy about it. Don't watch it eat, dude. You're weird. What's this camera angle? Okay. I was like, what are we doing? is it is Ellen looking Ellen DeGeneres? No, is Ellen looking at a fucking that bone? Why can't I collarbone? There you go. Right. Either way, you've experienced the breadth of human kindness. That's good. Oh, eh? Yeah, we'll say. Boys and girls? Ew. Drone technology. Great point. Interesting. You're talking about my helmet. Okay. Okay. I see. Okay. I mean, that's not legal. Oh, hello. Where? But why are you here? That's an interesting one. Based. Yeah, but he doesn't care for the rules. He just demonstrated that. Interesting. I don't think this is going to work, though. Yeah. Okay, we're making the subtext text. Capitalism without checks and balances? What? Oh! Okay, we're throwing down the gauntlet early. Damn. Interesting line, too. Hmm. But a strategic competitive advantage. Come on now. Ah! And you're going to be my fighter, right? Okay. I'll win. I don't care at all. I'll fight them all. That episode was a lot. Again, I was completely wrong. I started this session saying, "Oh, you can kind of see how we're falling into like a pretty rote structure," but no, we're not. Also, focus on the ED. Somebody get her out of that crystal. Her too. She's been crystallized in something. I wonder what the crystal is meaning to represent. The powers that be that are pulling us apart. No, this show's keeping me on my toes for sure. I just gotta know what's happening in it sometimes. Okay, you two, get a fucking room. Seriously. Oh, it's like Earth. True. Or post-credit. Okay. This reminds me of the guy that killed her dad, no? A little bit. Next time on? Let's just try it on. Okay, sure. And yeah, post art thing. Yeah, that certainly was something, huh? Okay. What does that last scene meaning to mean at all? I don't understand. Anyway, let's move on to the next episode, shall we? Sounds like a good idea. Rightio, episode 3 of G-Witch up. They're ready to go. 24 minutes and 8 seconds on this one, so sync up accordingly with your own copy here, of course. I've got the Judas file set. Should be very similar to whatever's on streaming. And yeah, picture and picture in the description below. Let's give it a 3, 2, 1. Rightio, 3, 2, 1, go. You have to win this duel. Okay. What? What? Like what? But they're gonna kick you out of school. Well, that's all well and cute and stuff. You can go on dates after you're married. Oh, I don't know about that. Well, of course you can. Just go on dates with your wife. Is that a language thing, maybe? Okay. Well, my thing is you're not going to... Oh, didn't we have a pinky promise thing before? Like, you're not going to be able to do any of the school stuff if you get expelled. And you're going to get expelled if, they have their way. Oh, no, this is his new suit. Interesting. He loves beating his son. Fair enough, I guess. Okay, Sionju. Let's go, buddy. Head up, champ. Let's have another good look at this opening, too. Well, there she goes. She's making friends there. Yeah, I mean, spoilers, everybody. I think she's going to make it. I don't think they're going to expel her from school. Which I guess it's utility, and the plot now becomes like... explaining away things, right? Because we know we're eventually going to get into a structure whereby all these people are going to fight her, right? Fight Soletta. We just needed to explain away everybody being okay with the presence of something that's clearly like a Gundam. Also, I don't really trust that fucking helmet lady. I don't really trust her. She's freaking me out. I would love to see a scene between her and Soletta, I think. Huh. Mom? What the fuck? Who the fuck are you? Okay. Okay. I see. Lots of things there. Well, that's clearly not. What was her name? It was like Elnora or something. That's clearly not her. Unless she got a whole new face. Okay, so you're like a nerdy type character. I know. Okay, let's go duel then. I'll kick your ass again. Yeah, but I got a new fucking robot this time. Come on now. Okay, bye. Huh. Huh. Okay, alright. It's all coming together, folks. Interesting. So she was blackmailing him based on the assassination attempt. Whee! Okay. Good on you, Shadiq. Yeah. Who the hell is Ariel then? We're getting further and further away from that prologue being connected to now. Do you know what I mean? You've already been inside once already. We're fiancés to each other. We're engaged. We're more than best friends. Yes. Elan. Is this going to be a thing? So, can I have your number? Ooh. Yeah. The list is weird. It's cute, though. Don't embarrass me. Oh, Elan. I think he may have ulterior motives, no? Okay. It's okay, we're not gonna beat you up or anything. What oath? The hell are you talking about, man? What are you talking about? Put your soul on the line now. Title of holder? I thought that was the whole thing. Okay. Okay, I want title as holder. Eh? Sure. Yeah, cook him. Cecilia. I'll keep that in mind. I don't care, I hate this guy. Not really, but I know. Huh? Okay. Prospera? Yeah, I don't care. It is very interesting you felt the need to defend him, though. Okay. I'll need to read that. Well, I just don't think you're gonna win, unfortunately. Okay, that was funny. Oh. I remember. Pinky promise. Um, so is she gonna be like our kind of voice that's gonna be telling us a bunch of shit while we're playing? Yeah? Okay, the big game's on the telly. Footy's on the telly. So some short shorts. Blade antenna? Sure. truth, you say? Very cute. Obviously, Miorine did that in episode 1, so she would know the oath or whatever. Where are we in the episode? Yeah, we have time for Guel to show off some tricks here. Ooh, that's some cheetah technology. Okay, we're doing okay. Yeah, dude, he's greater than he was. Darubalde. Sure. Yes. Means they also have a fuck ton of money. Huh. Yo, some AI shit. Well, that's cheating. I see, okay. And then I'm actually good in the rain. Don't forget about my lightsaber, dude. Come on. Yes, they would try to find every advantage possible, I'm telling you. What? Just cheat. Okay. If you're gonna cheat, we're gonna cheat harder. You're going okay. Well, who's gonna be our strong backing here? That looks pretty strong. Interesting. Damn. Losing an arm's interesting. On the on Ariel. So the groupies were turning on the water? Alright. Put the fucking house on her. Right now. Quick. Call up. Go down to the tab. Okay, that seemed largely successful. I believe. He looks fat as hell there. Interesting. I do like this as an arc for Guel. I kind of want him to win now. Oh, watch out! His true power may show itself. I like he want him to win. Oh. Did you cut off his rose? Yes. Very sports anime at the moment. I really like it. Where you're kind of half rooting for the other side too, because they've been given that kind of development. Thank you, Elan. Oh, dude. I'm the talk of the town. How did everybody get her number? Yeah, fuck you. Delling? I'm always forgetting his name. Oh, I thought I'd try a nickname on you so you'd give one to me. Sully? I don't know. What would you call Soletta? I liked it. I don't know. Oh, begrudging respect. The sun as well, again. Yes. What? No, I'm spoken for. That's a very fun symmetry, though. Yeah, no. Between the end of episode 1 and the end of episode 3 there. Each kind of ending in this kind of proposal type idea. Interesting. Yeah, I pegged him as Saionji, but no, he's definitely... Yeah, he's another character in Utena, a little bit as well. Again, Utena often playing, with Utena's role as potentially a romantic partner for men and a romantic partner for women. Oh my god. I like that a lot. Clearly you're doing the heavy lifting for this stuff to hit in episode 3 as much as it does. You're doing that in episode 2. Hence why that's one's going to be majority of the discussion, you would think. But it kind of comes together whereby Soletta's fighting for a lot of things. Fighting for Ariel's life, fighting for Miorine's continued existence and freedom in the school, and her own continued existence in the school, based on what I think we're setting up as some kind of like stolen childhood type plot or something, right? Where this is the first time she's like interacting with people her age. Like that's the kind of vibe. She's very nervous and she's very prepared and all that kind of stuff. Like, what is Soletta's backstory then? That's a big question. Unseen trap, you say? Sure. That's cool art. I like that. He's yelling. And yeah, we'll jump straight into some discussion on those 2 episodes. I think a lot of it's going to be on episode 2. But again, we'll say. So, episodes 2 and 3 of Mobile Suit Gundam The Witch from Mercury. What did I think? Largely enjoyable again. I am longing for a little bit of genuine time just sitting with the characters in school and doing some duels over and over again, as I kind of alluded to. But in place of that, we got a whole bunch more can of worms stuff, whole bunch more questions being asked of us, whole bunch more plot, basically. So as complicated as I thought last week was, we've kind of upped the complexity and upped the intrigue as well. These 2 episodes we've seen here today. To the point where there's a lot of different directions I can take the discussion here, for sure. One of the ones that I want to really center in on is Prospera. What is going on there? Who the hell even is that? Because here's my thing, right? Here's Mum in episode 1, right? Cool. If we go over to now Prospera, who is just designated as Mum on this device, like, yeah, I kind of see it. Did you just change your hair color? Have you changed your skin color, though? You look much whiter there, but maybe that's just the contrast of the black hair to the white skin now. Because you look a little bit darker tone of skin here, maybe. And Soletta definitely has a darker tone of skin, but I think that's more relative to the father. Huh. I'm unsure. I just feel like there's something weird going on. There's something freaky going on, right? I mean, obviously you can't use your name now. You probably have to reappear in the show as somebody else. And Prospera really sticking it to Delling. That comes with its, own kind of territory, I think, sticking it to him. He did kill your husband. Just in kind of listening to the 2 back to back again, I think they sound similar. Maybe they are the same person. I think they are. Anyway, surely the show will explain a lot of backstory stuff. Again, how we get from right here, in this whole shebang, to, the start of episode 1. I think the show will explain some of that in a little bit more detail. Maybe the opening will hide some secrets or show some secrets as well, reveal some stuff. So yeah, let's pop over to that. I will say the show's kept up its general high level of production, music swelling at all the right spots, has some really nice kind of choir vocal stuff there during the fights that I'll shout out. Just really triumphant, really kind of military sounding score, which I do enjoy. And yeah, the animation's quite good. I'm really liking all the character designs. Even a couple of them are over-designed. Like the pink-haired girl, she's a little bit much. But again, it's sci-fi, it's Gundam, have fun with it. Yeah, but again, like, it's well-directed, well-paced, all those other kind of things as well that come along with that kind of territory, so shout out. Because again, I tend to focus a lot on the plot with these kind of things, even when I'm not even supposed to, so, This is also some bullshit. I would recommend you pause on your copy or this copy or anything else and just read this for a bit. It's absolute nonsense, and I think it's written in a very, very fun way. Let me just read over here. Since, on the one hand, every given thing may be observed in a purely objective manner, and apart from all relations, and since, on the other hand, the will manifests itself in anything at some grade of its objectivity, so that everything is the expression of an idea, it follows that everything is also beautiful. What? Again, I'm pretty sure the joke here is that Elan is kind of like full of himself a little bit, I think. But also clearly very smart. I think he's positioning himself well. I don't think he's acting on pure romantic intention when it comes to Soletta. This gang of freaks will definitely all have their day, so, we have Ryoji and Haro here, little fucking robot ball guy. It's like, yeah, give me all the details of what it says in the system. Hey, yes, the Shinsei Development Corporation developed Ariel, who is Soletta Mercury's robot person. There's no match for the permit code. There's one machine that's similar. Back in the day at Ox Earth. So yeah, they've basically already figured out it's a Gundam, and that it should be impossible, and that it should be observed. And yeah, this is where the show really swerved. I thought that this status as a holder would give Soletta some amount of diplomatic immunity. It definitely did not. They immediately seized her machine, and Prospera had to get to work. Also, it's going to be interesting to follow I guess, the Miorine Soletta thing, and if they like each other, if they don't like each other, all that kind of stuff, right? Because here we have Miorine actively denying the whole marriage situation even again. I don't care about who the holder is, I'm going to Earth regardless. We see that demonstrated in the episode. She is willing and able to disregard Soletta, but again, not forever. She also stops in and says, hey, hey, Dad, stop doing this. And again, I think that motivation there is twofold. We'll just kind of skip to it now, like when she comes in. The motivation for her to be doing this is twofold, as I said, because she wants to stick it to Dad, because Dad sucks, just one last time. There's a bit of ego there, I think. But also she's being kind of tsundere about wanting to save Soletta and making sure that she isn't shipped back to Mercury. Again, we have that kind of scene in episode 1 and so forth, and throughout the rest of the show as well, where Soletta's really cute about doing her list of things and whatever, right? So again, you're kind of battling for that behind the scenes, in the same way that it's kind of cute that Soletta is definitely battling for your freedom in episode 3. Just cute. It's cute. So again, they're being very, about their relationship at the moment, but I think it'll grow in time. Okay, now we have an opening to look at. I looked at the lyrics last week, so we'll leave that there. Let's just do visuals. Okay, we start with Soletta here in space, just kind of looking along. Maybe she's on like a Mercury here or something. Again, I don't want to be like a sciencey dork, but isn't Mercury like all gas as well? How does that work? And then they both receive a call from each other, and then they start to communicate. You turn back towards her, and then then Ariel, then Witch from Mercury. Interesting. Because it's like, you kind of turn that way, and then you kind of turn back the other direction, so it's kind of like you two are facing each other by the kind of visual language there, which I like. And we just have some Gundam powering up stuff. Very, very cool. A little bit of establishment there. Yep, looking determined. Yeah, I will talk about this character aspect as well for Soletta right now. I don't know what the circumstances are, but she wants to experience like a normal childhood. Well, I guess I know what the circumstances are. If I believe that Prospera is Elnora, which I believe that's the case, then it would follow suit that you would be Eri. So again, you would have been denied a traditional childhood because you were 4 when you had to be on the run, and then you had to pick up this new life as a Mercury person. And I don't know, you probably felt like you didn't belong, and now you finally feel like you're attaining some sense of belonging by attending a school, something that people your age would be doing, all that kind of stuff, I think. It seems like you're going to attain your own little ball person here at some point too. Very, very cool. Miorine hiding in the forest like a freak. Again, her whole aesthetic is like Earth or Earthian. So again, she's going to want to be hanging in the forest. Those tomatoes have that explicit link to the mother there, of course, as well. If we're going to be building contrast, right, like, hey, we live in this kind of like Gundam world. It's all kind of sci-fi technology. When we go to this kind of stuff and we do these battles, we have like a VLC behave. We have like a fake wildlife, fake kind of wilderness appear, right? And again, you're drawn to the real thing in contrast, I think. Yeah, again, it's definitely something we're overall trying to say with the prevalence of technology and capitalism in the show. There's definitely an environmental twinge to everything going on, you would think. Again, wanting to outwardly deny your father. Very, very cool. We see the gang here. Again, I need to grab names. I believe you're Choo Choo, and you're like Nani or something like that, I don't know. I believe it's Nika. There we go. So these people seem like they're going to be gang. They seem like kind of the nerds of the school, the Earthians that are kind of looked down upon, I guess. So hooray, we got the nerd gang. And of course, then it becomes interesting when Miorine becomes involved, because she's definitely like higher class. She's associating with us Earthians. Oh my god. It's weird because she's both simultaneously the princess of the school and also somebody that people love to fucking hate. Again, part of it comes from jealousy as well, I think, too. Yeah, it's a weird one, right? Seems like some more side characters we'll get into later. You look very much like, the design from the latest Naoko Yamada film a little bit. So that's interesting. But goat and chicken. Again, this kind of clash between, industrialism, technology, sci-fi, and natural stuff. Animals, farming. And then Robot comes through, is here squarely in the framing, protecting Miorine, flying off towards the school, fighting these various people. Guel, Shadik, Elan. Cool. And then we've got Gund technology stuff. Very, very cool. Shorter, darker hair here. I believe I saw this shot in the kind of prologue, so let's not focus in on that too much. Next shot is little Eri on Mercury, you would imagine. With Ariel? I would imagine this is Ariel, right? Because I believe the one in the prologue had different colors. Elfrith. But I believe they're the same robot. They just got a fucking paint job, I guess. And then a quick shot of Elnora there. And then holding hands, and then into the fucking Gundam shit again. Very, very quickly there, we get a lot of different, like, kind of robot designs. I'm going to imagine that these are going to be associated with each one of these characters. She's hot as fuck, by the way. Like, it's the thigh highs, I think. Yeah. I don't know, we'll leave it there, I guess. No more horny posting. And then, of course, here you have the other layer to it. You have Delling kind of fading into Prospera there. All the kind of machinations that happening, like, kind of above the school level. All the corporate stuff, all the political espionage, all that kind of jazz. And then, of course, it wouldn't be a Nutena reference if you didn't have two characters kind of spinning in a circle. They're facing each other, closing their eyes. Their hands actually do link at one point, which is cool. And yeah, ending kind of on a visual of Eri here as well. Okay, sure. So again, it stands to reason that if Elnora is Prospera, then Eri must be Soletta. That would make sense. Okay. Again, I don't know why that's confusing in the show. Again, maybe I'm just falling for the same kind of fake name BS that everybody else is, right? They're not realizing that these people used to be in these kind of spots. It certainly is a very dense show. I feel like I could pause and see a lot of different character designs that'll come back later here at various points. Like, I like you two. You two are cool. Either way, it immediately all goes to shit. There's a jamming signal. Nobody else is allowed to watch what's going on anymore, and you basically have the feds come in and confiscate the machine, detain Soletta. So we'll get into some of the ramifications later on of everything that's going on, right? But if the kids can realize, or Elan can realize it's kind of a Gundam, then so can the authorities. They jump in and seize it on suspicion of being a Gundam, and then we do our kind of, show at the end of the episode of, is it a Gundam, is it not a Gundam, and kind of discussing that kind of stuff. I believe part of the argument is centering around you not being adversely affected, so it mustn't be a Gundam, right? It's not having the kind of effect on the skin. This is also the first instance of the president just saying that this is what must be, so it must be, right? Just stamping the foot down. Are we saying that rampant, unchecked, huge capitalism leads to potentially dictatorish, potentially fascist ideas? A little bit. What we reference here is monarchy, which I think is also apt, right? Again, if we're running with the kind of princess idea for you, then that makes Delling currently king. Yeah, again, we even explore it in a little bit of kind of like exposition-y dialogue. Don't Gundams take the lives of their pilots? But that girl's alive, isn't she? And she used it to great effect. So what's going on? Again, if we're following, this must be Eri getting past layer 33 or whatever the hell. So, you know. We have this doofus looking at all the kind of data here, right? Dad is currently deceased. Mother is currently assigned to Lagrange 1. This turns into like a sham interrogation, basically, where they're trying to put words in her mouth, trying to say that this is a Gundam, you're piloting a Gundam, all this kind of stuff. Trying to like push the confession out of her, basically, right? Do you realize that that's illegal? You're not denying it. It must be true. Again, it feels like Delling is smelling a little bit of smelling something he doesn't like and is trying to put an end to it, I guess. And yeah, you continue to be adamant that it's not a Gundam, it's Ariel. Again, you're very specific about naming it. It's like a sibling to you if we're taking some of that prologue stuff to heart, right? It's like your little baby sister. I'm a little bit confused about the witch idea. So it seems like people that were associated with Vanadis and Ox Earth are now being called witches, right? She's a Gundam pilot. She doesn't look like a witch. Or witches are Gundam pilots, I guess. And again, I kind of started to unpack this a little bit last week, kind of the princess, instead of getting with the prince, the gallant knight, all that kind of stuff, getting with the witch instead, almost in an attempt to get back at her father, which she doesn't agree with, the king of the land. It's all starting to come together. But if you're being designated as the witch, right, then what does that make Prospera? Think about that as well. These kind of forces that are working against the king in the shadows. So this guy's like hella mad. His son just like kind of got pieced up, so he's like, again, he's feeling some type of way. He wants to take her out immediately, all that kind of stuff. Another interesting component is that Shinsei Development Corporation is part of Benerit Group, right? So it's kind of like we're working from the very bottom of the group to try to infiltrate to the very top. But again, we see what happens to underperforming groups in general. They just kind of get slaughtered and cut off from funding and all that kind of stuff. So kind of being 150th right down at the very bottom is very fun. And again, kind of rising the ranks as people notice this technology more and more and more, using those kind of capital gains to get back at Delling eventually. I think that's broadly a structure we'll be going for. Either way, we're going to investigate that. Let's get that Shinsei representative on the call. Let's get him out here. Let's figure out what's going on. But either way, the duel results were also voided, which means that Guel's still on top, of course. Where again, the rumors quickly swirl around school that she was a cheater and she cheated and all this other kind of stuff. But again, we'll see. We meet up with Nika here briefly, and she asks about Soletta. What's going on with Soletta? I lent her my notebook. And then it's like, no, an Earthian like you would never understand, just concentrate on your studies. We could see the start of this kind of oppression that'll run through the series, you would imagine, when it kind of pertains to the Earthians and they're kind of outcasts and freaks based on kind of the culture of the school. Now, this is very interesting. We only kind of see this on the rewatch. Shadiq is en route to the meeting that they're going to have with Shinsei, right? That the kind of whole Benedict group or whatever is going to have with them. So he's leaving. Hey, Elan, while I'm away, make sure that you don't do anything fucked up. Watch the dueling commission and all that kind of stuff. He uses this as an opportunity to slide in close to Soletta. Just based on episode 3, I wonder if we're going to do something where we redeem all of these characters on the student council and it becomes a kids versus adults type idea, just in general, right? I'm thinking something akin to, remember Astra Lost in Space or whatever that show is called? Kind of that similar kind of structure. If you know, you know, in that kind of show. Yeah. One to watch maybe. I don't know. I see each and every one of these characters as redeemable. If we can redeem Guel, then we can redeem basically anybody here. And again, Elan isn't exactly hiding his motivations here, so when I'm like, he's not exactly looking for love here, he basically says that, I'll never fall in love, no matter what. And I'm going to imagine that Guel would have said something similar, and then, you know, the events of the end of episode 3 happen. Maybe even like a reverse harem-y kind of thing to it as well. These two characters here are very hateable. I don't like them very much, but we have essentially like the popular kids coming over and annoying Miorine as she tries to fix up her little garden again. Either way, those characters offhandedly remark that Soletta's going to be expelled, that Mercurian girl. So yeah, then you're on the move. Again, it's very cute. You feel for her some type of way. You want to fix things. You want to remedy things, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, interesting. You want to gather information now that you've learned that she's going to be expelled. Again, specifically maybe those scenes in episode 1 about Soletta's connection with Ariel as well. If they're going to scrap Ariel and it's partly my fault, then I feel somewhat responsible for fixing this thing for Soletta. And again, that kind of responsibility is probably why you don't end up just escaping to Earth and go and confront your father at the end of this episode as well. Either way, we're all doing a bunch of exposition here. We're talking about Shinsei now. Founded 33 years ago, ranked D within the group, 151st out of 157 total companies. That would tell me that each and every one of these kind of kids in the school have some kind of association with each of the corporations. That's probably why they go to this school in particular. It's probably Benedict kind of sponsored or whatever the hell. And again, we say it pretty explicitly here, your status in the school is as good as your rank in the company, right? So like, that's why all the popular kids at the top of the school kind of system here are, you know, associated with the top companies in the group. It just makes sense. And again, the association with those various groups as Spacian and Earthian and all that kind of stuff, and the kind of discrimination there within. We learnt from before that you're Earthian, you feel some type of way about Earthians as well, so you're probably an Earthian, you're probably an Earthian, and we're kind of, again, the lower down on the social ladder at school as a result. Leading to two rando kids just like bullying them. And again, I think we should dispose of these children. I think they should die. I think. Like, specifically, like, spitting your chewing gum in their food that's clearly, like, not even close to done. Ew. It's just gross. I fucking hate these people. And then, yo, bro, instantly attack mode for fucking stupid Choo Choo or whatever your name is. Wait a minute, your name's Choo Choo. There's a character in Utena called Choo Choo. Very, very much doesn't look like you. I don't think so, anyway. But that's a cute connection. I'd imagine that Choo Choo's a nickname as well for something else. Yeah. Huh, that's funny. You're like the little fucking rat friend freak from Utena. I hated that character. I hated Choo Choo. No, he was okay. I liked Choo Choo. That's just funny. That's made my day, actually. And yeah, Choo Choo goes for a Nika Ne as well. Like big sis Nika, right? Yeah. You're very nickname pilled, which I think you're going to then give Soletta a nickname. That would make sense. So this was very confusing to me until I learned that they were in zero gravity at the moment. I was like, she's really fucking leaning on that shit. She's like low-key strong. She's like carrying her own body weight like that. But no, it's zero gravity. Either way, here Miorine learns that Delling is purely responsible for the imprisonment of Soletta and all that other kind of stuff. Again, the king's word is law. The witch must be locked up. On top of that, Miorine here learns that Dad has even more plans for her even now. Clearly, this is predicated on what just happened, right? Like, Dad makes the move to pull Miorine out of the school immediately and find a different husband to not do this gambit anymore. It's too dangerous. Yeah, he wants to immediately pull out of that kind of thing now. Yeah, I'm wondering if, again, Soletta is the reason why. He sees through it a little bit and he's like, oh shit, this spells trouble. But either way, this is setting up the stakes for Miorine, right? If we don't win now, here and today, after my little throwing down of the gambit at the end of the episode, then I'll be forced to, marry some other bloke. Some bloke that I don't like. Specifically a man as well. Which, again, you may have your preference one way or the other. But hey, this is what I'm fighting for at the end of this shit now, right? For my own freedom, to make the choices to do what I want, where I want, as well as obviously the whole Soletta side as well, and making good on that. You talked about piano briefly as well, which again, Utena reference. There was another bride-type character in Utena that was quite good at playing the piano. But again, maybe you were only good at playing the piano insofar as getting to another different character, which is its own can of worms. Again, hey, I'm going to stop this right now. If you want a good show to watch, and you haven't seen it already, maybe check out Utena. It's pretty good. Either way, there's a spy in the base currently, and Miorine's gone to the bathroom. Seems like a perfect opportunity to follow up on what happened before. Essentially, this person was... also, phone games aside, essentially this person was the person that Miorine contacted during the first episode, during her first escape, and was going to be the person that picked her up, like smuggle her out of school and back to Earth. And now she's following back up on it. Hey, do you still want to come to Earth? We're here to pick you up. You didn't make it to the rendezvous point. Now, she's an interesting character too, and we'll talk about it because you have a line after everything goes down and kind of Miorine walks into the big kind of conference room. So I want to see if you have ulterior motives too, maybe. Either way, Miorine has been thrown a dilemma. Does she run away to Earth now, cut her losses, and go to this kind of green place with the blue skies and whatever? Or does she deeply care about what's going on here? Does she want to make it right with Soletta? Does she want to continue to be at school with this kind of person? Does she want to still stick it to Dad in some kind of way and stop running away, right? If we think about Soletta's little kind of speech that she always does, basically says that you shouldn't run away, right? You gain pride and experience through challenging the people you want to challenge, right? Stand up for yourself, basically. And again, it's very fun that she kind of doubles back and follows Soletta's advice in kind of saving her. Again, I like the kind of game ticking down here as the kind of ticking clock for her decision, The people quickly find that Miorine has disappeared, and Delling doesn't seem to give a fuck at all. He's like, what about the men watching her? And then he's like, fine, I know where she's going anyway, just set up a perimeter. It seems like, again, Delling very specifically has no care for her daughter as a person. Now, again, this just absolutely stinks of dead wife, right? You lament the loss of your dead wife, it hurts too much, so you can't get close enough to your daughter again, because it'll hurt you even more. She reminds you of her, all that kind of stuff, right? Doesn't make you a good dad, but may make you sympathetic in the future, at least in some way. Again, this is Cope right now. He's coping. You can't care about her because it hurts him too much. I think it's very purposeful that we contrast Delling's lack of care in his kind of daughter here, right? Him kind of grimacing for a moment, again, maybe remembering that dead wife, straight into Guel getting slapped by his dad, right? Like, there's a contrast being built there. These kind of abusive parents above us that are kind of enforcing their will on the children down below. Does that not kind of sound like the spacey and Earthian conflict within itself as well? Potentially. Another point of contrast, of course, would be the dad's perceived lack of care in Miorine, and then the dad's, huge amount of care to the point of abuse of Guel. Like, what's the happy medium there, you know? So Prospera definitely has like a different kind of accent when she's talking like this, but I truly do believe it's the same voice actress. Anyway, we're going to drop the whole Prospera thing. Either way, she shows up and she's going to fucking blackmail this guy, right? She somehow knows about the murder plot that he had for Delling. She says that she'll tell people if this guy doesn't do what she says, right? And that's why he kind of supports her in that kind of conference room situation later on. So you're very much playing with fire as well, because you've got this stupid helmet on that is apparently helping you to, you know, your brain to work and all that kind of stuff. But we clearly see you with the helmet off at some point. So everybody else believes that your head's like fucked up for some reason. Are you going to be able to hold that secret forever? I don't know. Also, the arm is a pretty clear connection between you and Elnora, right? Yeah, just it was a couple scenes in a row now. Just the transitions are quite good. Kind of going from Prospera here to Soletta sleeping, and then she says mum in her sleep, right? That's when Elan comes in and gives her a little bit of care. We have a little bit of a romantic leitmotif as well. But again, just kind of Prospera into mum. It's just flowing well, you know? But again, you absolutely like stink of fuckboy, I think. You're just, again, putting the moves on, seeing a naive young girl and trying to have your way and all that kind of stuff. Again, you're being put up to this for some reason. You will never love another person. You clearly have baggage, and I shouldn't be associating with you. You also have, like, these kind of things. Like you're making tea or a coffee or something, a little brush. Or maybe they kind of hang off like curtains, right? They're like the kind of end of a curtain, maybe. Tassels. Again, yeah, he's just heartless. We have Soletta over here crying tears of joy at finally being able to eat something, like being shown some level of care, and he's just no-selling it. No feeling at all. And again, Soletta Mercury, you interest me. I want to know more about you. A little bit of a blush going on. Very interesting. And then, yeah, we're straight into this whole scene, right? We have Prospera standing on the kind of pedestal, right? And being questioned if she has involvement with Veritas, or she's a witch, or that's a Gundam, or any of that kind of stuff. Which, again, Prospera continues to vehemently deny. She claims that it's Shinsei's new drone technology. That's what's going on with, you know, Ariel. Needless to say, in the prologue, we saw that Elfrith was using very similar technology. Again, it's easy for us to see that it's associated, I think. So again, this is her gambit. She's trying to convince everybody here that this isn't a Gundam, right? Shadiq comes through with pretty solid evidence that the kind of waveforms match what's going on, right? You have an elevated level of permit influx, sure. Again, this is a unique characteristic of Gund format stuff. Gundams, you're piloting a Gundam, or you developed a Gundam, so fuck off, basically. Again, if that machine was a Gundam, you would have detected a data storm. I believe that this is the skin type effect, right? This is the negative consequence of using the Gundam. And again, they didn't detect it, right? I do like at this point of the discussion that everybody around her is trying to find like some kind of legal basis to tell her that it's a Gundam, and then she just keeps saying, nuh-uh, before Delling puts the foot down and says, it's a Gundam because I fucking said it was a Gundam. Which again, does not speak to a, you know, modern sense of justice, potentially speaks to a king and a king's rule saying everything, right? Potentially a dictator even. Part of Prospera's strategy here is also declaring that, hey, I'm part of the group that you guys are a part of. If I have some new kind of awesome technology that's defeating everybody, don't you guys want to buy in? Don't you guys want to know my secrets? All that kind of stuff. Again, talking to the corporate greed kind of angle of everybody else as well. I wonder if this is part of the plan. This guy, I probably do need to grab a name. Apparently it's Vim. Vim is a name. Yeah, this guy. He's like, hey, I can't trust you if you're wearing that kind of stuff right on your head. I can't see your eyes. I can't trust you. Throws the arm. Hey, this is the result of what's happened to me. It's basically disrespectful for you to ask me to do that kind of stuff. Specifically attaching these injuries as well to the conditions on Mercury, right? But with this new technology, we're able to mine without putting anybody in danger. People will never have to have injuries like me ever again. It's a bargaining tactic. She's trying to convince people that the technology is actually worth something. And then Delling basically says, no, shut up. I don't even care. That thing's a Gundam. I don't want to see it. So again, we must remember Delling's reasonings for all this kind of stuff. I think he's got some kind of grudge against Earth personally that we'll dive into a little bit more. Gundams and Gund technology and all that kind of stuff is associated with Ox Earth, which is the Earth company. Earthian stuff we fucking hate the Earthians, all that kind of stuff. That's the basis. Again, there's also the corporate greed angle, probably based on this ruling that he did with Cathedra or whatever the hell. Based on that kind of stuff, he was able to become the head of Benric Group and become as powerful as he was, right? Are you saying that somebody that's integrally tied to the auditing side of stuff is also tied into big business to potentially lead to corruption? Good thing that's never happened in real life. You can see the rest of the kind of jury here we're starting to believe Prospera and kind of give each other some small looks. Well, what Delling says goes, I guess. They're unsure about this ruling. But here, just in the nick of time, Miorine enters the scene and basically throws down the gauntlet for a duel. So this is surprising to us, the audience, because we thought that she was off to Earth, but she made a stop in here to, tell her father off one last time. Yeah, these two, right? Weren't we supposed to take her to Earth? Well, it can't help to be indebted to the president's daughter, I guess. So that implies that Miorine asked to be here. And yeah, you say space is in need of new rules. So, you guys some super rebel shit? I don't know. Weird. The vibes aren't good off her, I'll just say it. I don't know. We see Delling's number one strategy here continue to work. He continues to not want to see Miorine as a daughter at all. You are not a director of a company. You are a student with no authority to speak here. You are merely a bride that I will marry off to somebody else for, monetary or political gain. You are not my daughter. I will never kind of engage with you on that level. No amount of care for you. And again, that just screams Delling being almost protecting himself in that process, I think. Protecting his emotions. Delling, I will take no discussion on this. What I say goes. Did you think that you could speak out against me because you're my daughter? That does not fly here. I am vested with power. You have none. The powerless shut their mouths and obey. Wasn't there something about winners and losers as well? There's two types of people in this world. Anyway, was that this show? I think it was. And yeah, very quickly there, Miorine says the little kind of Soletta motto to herself and then says, yeah, no, I'm not going to back down here, right? I'm not going to run away. I challenge you to a duel. Again, the gauntlet of the duel being that, hey, if I win, then you have to recognize Soletta as my kind of groom, as my partner, as my fiancé. If not, you can do whatever you want, right? If you guys win. And yeah, very specifically at the very end, Miorine calling out the fact that Delling is supposed to be an adult, so what gives? Again, I think we're building in the show a pretty clear adult-child split between parents and their children. And who's in charge and who's not, and should we escape their kind of control and all that kind of stuff. Well, that's even very cool, right? The parents are almost inhabiting the children and controlling them the same way that the children are inhabiting and controlling the Gundams and the mobile suits, right? Yeah, that's definitely what the show's trying to get at thematically, I think. Either way, then this guy, Vim or whatever, he starts to come through hey, this could actually, recover our market share if we were to invest in this kind of technology and improving it. So let Guel have another go at, defeating her. Let Guel be the champion here. And again, Prospera agrees to provide the machine with the data, right? And again, all the kind of corporate people in the room are like, oh, this thing's pretty powerful. Let's see what it can do. Gain market share, more money, all that kind of business. But again, by the very end of it, Delling agrees. Interesting. And again, we end the episode with these two embracing, going in for a smooch almost. Look how close they get here. Yeah, they're pretty close. Holy shit. And then, yeah, we throw it in the gauntlet. Hey, fight or area will be scrapped, basically. And that's our lead into episode 3. Into episode 3 now, and Soletta's kind of denying Miorine initially, right? Saying that she doesn't want to get married. She doesn't want to agree to this kind of thing. It was kind of sprung upon her at the end of episode 1. The reason here being Soletta's little list of things she wanted to do when she went to school. This becomes one of the central conceits of the episode, and I think will continue for the rest of everything going on. Again, as I've said, this kind of character that was sheltered, branching out and wanting to do all these normal human child things, right? That would make sense. Make friends, call them by nicknames, study in the library, eat lunch on the roof, and of course go on dates. Her argument being that she doesn't want to be married to Miorine because that would mean that she couldn't go on dates, that would be considered cheating. My answer would be, why don't you just go on dates with your wife? That would make sense. But no, the argument here being that I can't even legally get married to you until I'm 17. I think you're already 17, so there'll be a little bit of time there for you to go on dates. But again, my whole argument is, hey, you're going to be expelled regardless. So, it's either do this or not be able to experience any of the other school stuff, But again, I think we're bringing up the date thing to give the Elan's stuff a little bit more kind of oomph, right? She wants to date boys and that kind of thing. Specifically bringing up the idea of playing a groom as well. We don't have to actually be in love. You just have to pose as that kind of thing because it'll help me get closer and closer to Earth. Again, you're going to imagine from here this is going to evolve into, you know, a blossoming love, starting from a convenient relationship into something more. Also, the pinky promise kind of motif throughout is pretty pronounced, and I like it. I did happen to skip the post-credit scene at the end of episode 2, where we were looking at Del Balde, or whatever this thing's called. Daryl Balde, sure. It's a new guy, I don't know. It's like the old guy, but stronger, I guess. We saw it kind of mince up a couple of mobile suits in the end of last episode. Guel also hates it because it's some AI shit, right? This is when we start to get into developing Guel a little bit as a character. So, he has dreams of being like the top dog of the Dominicas. He wants to be their ace. He wants to be the big military guy and be the best, right? In that way, he wants to do it with his own strength. He doesn't want to rely on the position of his father or the technology of his group in order to do so. He wants to be the strongest by himself. Again, pretty noble kind of cause here, right? If he's relying on AI... current year, by the way. If he's relying on AI to be the best at something, then he probably isn't the best, and he can't prove himself to anybody. But his parents disagree. This is bigger than just you. It's about our position in the company, man. Yeah, and that's the conflict, right? Again, pitting child against adult in a very specific way. Specifically beating his child again, he just fucking loves it. Again, calling relying on his own personal strength just childish pride, too. Yeah. If you want to be treated like an adult, then you must... you know, be subservient to me, basically. Win and reclaim the holder of title, and do it with our technology. Like this shot, too. Him kind of, like, sighing and resigning himself to this kind of thing, while looking at the mobile suit, kind of sadly. I like it. So now we get to one of the most interesting scenes, right? We have Soletta talking with her mother, Prospera. Say, Mum, what's a Gundam? So... you asking that question implies you know none of the backstory as it stands right now. You're not aware of it. But you were 4 at the time, no? I guess 4-year-olds don't remember, like, the details and that kind of shit. The people from Benerick Group called me a witch. They called Ariel a Gundam. Do you know anything about that? Is it true, Mum? I don't recall raising you as a witch, so you mustn't be a witch, right? Of course I know about that past incident, and about Gundams. But you and Ariel aren't like that, Soletta. Are you lying, Mum? Instead, you're my precious daughters. Which, again, daughters, both Ariel and, again... huh, but you're just clearly hiding things from your daughter even now, no? Huh, which kind of makes you, like, just as bad as the rest. Maybe not just as bad, but the same kind of thing. Again, parents speaking for children, leaving them in the dark, working around them instead of being honest with them, right? Mum, I've got some questions, Mum, that's all I'll say. The focus on the hairband and the lack thereof here at this point as well, and associating that with Mum is very pointed too. I really do like that too. It's almost like Mum's hairband in itself has grown into something greater here. The helmet, of course. Either way, Soletta's talk of the town as she re-enters the school, becomes not expelled anymore, and Nika's right up into it. Seems like one of her major character traits is going to be this kind of nerdy technology type person, our kind of voice in our ear, telling us all the kind of, you know, like exposition kind of. You know, in like a Pokemon battle where they'll cut to like Misty and Brock in like the stands? She's going to be like that, I think. Again, getting very nerdy, talking about all the technology behind it and so forth. And yeah, Soletta smiles to herself, having ticked off one of the entries on her list, before Guel runs straight in, says, hey, we're gonna fight. Wait, I have to fight you? That's a relief. That's a really funny response from Soletta, actually. Like, oh my god, I already beat you once. Here we learn about some of the shady deals going on. It turns out that Prospera was kind of blackmailing you the entire time. She knew about the plan to kill Delling and is using that against you. But again, how did she know that? I don't know. Weird. We have a quick scene here with Shadiq and his father discussing the presence of Prospera and what it means, and how she's mysterious. How did these Mercurians have the kind of resources and technology to develop such a thing? There's no record of her as a registered mobile suit engineer. How does any of this make any sense? So Shadiq, as a result, you're going to look into the daughter. Turns out Soletta's going to be very, very important from here. They're very, very overt about it, aren't they? We have Soletta here bringing fertilizer for the tomato plants, helping to improve the garden once again, being the boost that she needs to eventually get to what she wants, that being Miorine. That's very direct. I like that a lot. Either way, no matter what we call each other, best friends or whatever else, if you lose that duel, then we're fucked. So all the pressure's on, basically. I want more of this stuff in the show, right? So Elan walks over, right? Says, Seleta Mercury, and he's like a little pretty boy voice or whatever, right? And then we have Miorine here that just fucking hates it. Gets kind of jealous, just at least a little bit. Or at least wants to tease Soletta about it. Smoothly rushing in, grabbing the digits, all that kind of stuff. To which Soletta says out loud, number 12 on my list came true. And it proceeds to explain the list to Elan. When prompted to say more about the list, Miorine is the one to bring up dates, which makes her very blushy and nervous, oh my god. To which Elan smoothly comes in, I hope you'll fulfill many wishes on your list. Potentially you'll make that possible, pretty boy. But again, that only spells disaster. Even there, that's a very cool shot coming out of the elevator. Just kind of Soletta's face there. Yeah, right there into that. Just kind of a little bit of nervousness there. That's pretty cool. So it's all very official, right? There's like all these oaths and stuff that you need to do for the duel and the speeches and all that kind of shit. Seems like a relic of a bygone era almost, right? It's like you don't know the rules of engagement when it comes to like fighting with knights and jousting and all that kind of stuff. That's the kind of vibe it gives off. During this portion of the kind of making of the duel, we must stake something, right? So Soletta is staking an apology from Guel back to Miorine, but also Miorine staking all the things that she mentioned as well. You'll get to stay in the school, you'll get to keep Ariel, you'll get to do all that kind of stuff. So you're staking a lot of stuff, right? I'm wondering if this apology to Miorine will come back through in next episode, right? Guel is staking everything, you know? Status is the holder, basically. That's what he's looking for, the retention of his old status. They also say some Latin there or some shit. Don't really know what that's about. You're like Cecilia or something? She's basically like teasing Guel, saying that his rich daddy got him to, reverse the result of a duel and give him a second chance. It'll be very embarrassing if you were to lose again, putting the pressure on him, pressing on the pressure point of the father as well. You're just sadistic, and I kind of love it. Also, you've got your stupid little ball person too. Very cool. Either way, Soletta sees this argument taking place between these two characters and promptly jumps in the way, saying that laughing at somebody who doesn't run away is stupid. Again, talking to your kind of, little motto there from the first episode. And again, in of itself, that took a lot of courage to say that kind of thing, right? To stand up for him and to not run away and to, see injustice and do something about it, right? This is telling Guel that, Soletta kind of respects him for trying again and fighting again and throwing it all on the line and all that other kind of stuff, right? And that the people that are disparaging towards you are in the wrong. This means that you two, in a way, become kindred spirits by the very end, putting it all on the line in this battle. Again, that probably speaks to your infatuation by the very end of the episode too. Again, all predicated on this first meeting. We'll talk about some lighting stuff later on as well, but very specifically Soletta walking out from the elevator and into the light. I'll even just bring it up now. At the very end of the episode, very similar lighting situation with you more illuminated and the shadow behind you. But again, you're facing the light, you're embracing it, all that other kind of stuff, right? Even more so when you kneel down on one knee and propose. The only other extra thing we add to the philosophy here, because Guel's kind of dismissive here and now, but he kind of embraces it by the end of the episode. The only other thing we bring up with that motto is that the mother said it, right? So, essentially the motto means never back down, right? Or at least you gain more if you don't back down. You gain more if you choose to fight. Prospera is choosing to fight in her actions right here, right now. But again, is her secrecy and all that other kind of stuff, is that counterintuitive to what this motto is trying to say as well? It's an interesting one. We'll watch for it. And again, Soletta was about to go into way more backstory stuff, but then Guel just walks away. Don't care, didn't ask. Plus, you're Mercurian. So Guel's little brother, this little freak guy here, he seems like way more on his dad's side too. So again, maybe I got that the wrong way around. I seem to think that this guy was more redeemable. Maybe not. He's also got his two little groupie girls here flanking him. He's about to hop in the suit and get ready for the duel. And again, he says there that he's going to win at any cost, but he still destroys the AI system and all that other kind of stuff, right? Seems like for this fight that Miorine is going to be the person kind of in the chair, giving her commands and all that kind of stuff, right? And eventually does an action scene of her own to stop some cheating from taking place, right? I do like Soletta going through the list of stuff she needs and listing that she's got a full stomach, right? I've eaten today. I've eaten something filling. We're also continuing to bring up the pinky promise as a pretty prominent motif here as well. We have Vim and his other son, the other guy, talking about the plan in place. That's definitely the girls messing with the sprinklers. And again, my brother doesn't need trinks like that to win. Dad says don't care, didn't ask, plus you're my son. I do like how sports anime this is turning out to be as well, just having these different contestants we fight, to the point where you almost end up rooting for the adversary by the very end, giving them all that kind of good development type stuff, right? Very Chihaya Furu coded stuff, which I do enjoy. With Soletta's character, it seems like we're going to continue to go with this kind of fish out of water thing, this kind of stuttery country bumpkin type stuff. She doesn't know any of the terms or the duels or blah, 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 blah. It's a good way to get exposition out of the way. You know, you recite the vow. What's the vow? Oh my god. And yeah, we know what the vow is because we saw Miorine do the vow at the first episode's fight, right? But again, you just don't know. Again, your mileage may vary. I'm finding it cute for now. I'd love to see Soletta develop over time to become somebody that's a little bit more capable. Also, good characterizing moment there for Guel, who is the one that finishes the kind of ode for her, right? The oath. Again, getting kind of impatient. He's a fun character. The result itself is the only truth, is a really, really, really interesting kind of thing that they have to continue to tell themselves, right? It's actually terrible advice, right? All that matters is the black and white. The areas of grey mean nothing. Again, applying this kind of philosophy to the parents' world of corporate, you know, whatever they're doing, corporate company stuff. That's terrible advice when it comes to that kind of stuff. It means that the ends justify the means if the profits are there, which is bad. Again, this speaks to the philosophy of the father, kind of basically telling the son to tell the girls to put the sprinklers on. It's not the right thing to do, but the result's the only truth. So nobody cares if we cheated. But again, this isn't the person that Guel wants to be. And again, I think talks to this larger theme about the parents and their kind of impact on society, this kind of being that first push away from that kind of stuff. Soletta almost in herself inspiring this kind of revolution of all the kind of kids to rise up against their parents in a way. I think that's kind of where we're going. A fight occurs. The fight is well animated, well directed, well lit, well kind of framed. I can see what's going on. I can see who's fighting who. I don't have much else to say about it beyond that. It's just kind of two robots fighting too, I don't know. Until we get some like different robot designs that do some different things, I'm a little less interested. This guy's just got like a lance again. He's just like a Dark Souls boss. I don't know. Or more accurately, maybe Armored Core. Again, I'm sure the Gundam nerds can tell me the difference between Dilenza or whatever the hell and fucking Darrell Blade or whatever. Sure, somebody can, but it's not me. Guel takes his hands off the controls here and realizes that the thing's basically on autopilot. It's fighting for him. Yeah, so that's not good. I want to fight with my own strength, not my father's strength, you know? That's kind of what we're trying to get at here. So in combination with that, that's also when the sprinklers start to go off. Apparently the excuse is that the heat level reached a certain level in the room, and then the sprinklers started to go off, and then we couldn't stop the fight for whatever reason, because it's just the reality of the situation. Again, all this is meaning to say is this was a setup. Essentially, Dad's done everything in his power to make sure that you win. Does that feel like a real victory now? If you have aspirations to become the best fighter in the world, then getting easy victories like this is counterintuitive. Miorine suspects foul play, but she's told that they're going to play on. Again, victory is the only truth or whatever they said. If this was an accident or part of their plan, that would still be part of his strength. So again, Miorine thinks that's bullshit. You choose to cheat back in turn. Again, if you think that that's part of their strength, then I'm going to be part of Soletta's strength, which is all very gay. So she hops into her little mobile suit and goes on a little adventure. Elan even saying here, Soletta Mercury, if you're really a witch, you'll get out of this situation. Miorine telling you to hold on and everything. Yeah, it's ramping up the tension in a cool way. I really did like this sequence. I do like that everybody's like watching the event and we get like lots of different perspectives. I hope that continues as the show blossoms into different kind of fights and stuff. I think that's cool. Just kind of checking in with everybody and what they think. Essentially, we have these two bully girls here in their little section raising the internal temperature of the systems and essentially hacking it up, right? And again, I really like this as a kind of fuck you from Miorine as well, because these girls are kind of bullies, so we get a chance to scare them and get our revenge there. It's all very high school, but I love it. I think it's implied that Miorine fucking killed those two girls too, so again, you get what you deserve. From here, the tables turn immediately. We have the nerd crew starting to get up and about, talking about odds and shit. I do like these two a lot. I wonder if there's a little bit of camaraderie between the Mercurians and the Earthians, maybe. Just a little bit. Close to each other in the grand scheme of things in space. Maybe a little bit. Again, it's very natural for Choo-Choo to, like, claim, like, this Mercurian as her own, even though, again, she doesn't even go here. Love it. I think that's very cool. Let's round out the rest of this pretty quickly, because we've kind of already talked about Guel and his motivations. From here, he destroys the fucking AI shit. He learns about the heat management system. He wants to fight with his own strength. But again, he doesn't realize the duel is bigger than him as well. And again, from here, he just goes rogue, right? Children should do as their parents say, shut up, destroys that system. I do like the change in fighting style too from here. It's way more visceral and kind of strength-based. It feels a lot more like Guel as a character, as opposed to a computer-perfect program just doing the right thing. The fight changes in its choreography after this point in a way that I think is noticeable and quite cool. And again, it's really cool. It's like these two kind of opposing forces still fighting their heart out, being true to themselves during this duel, right? Again, contrast this with something like Utena, which definitely had, I wouldn't say a bad character in every duel, but you definitely wanted Utena to win most of them, right? Again, this is very different in that regard, and I think is invoking a little bit more of a sports anime type feel as a result. Either way, you lose your Utena fucking Rose. Basically, you cut the aerial off the robot and you lose. And Soletta Mercury is declared the winner. But again, it really made her sweat, you know? She's really like freaked out and, you know, heavy breathing after that. It really was a workout as opposed to the AI type shit. And then she gets a billion messages from everybody on her phone. I don't know, did somebody give out her phone number or something? How does this work? Anyway, she filters by only numbers that she has as well, and Elan is the only one that really congratulates her. And again, so now you won't be expelled. Ariel and you are both safe. We won, right? And again, you two are able to smile and laugh a little bit. And yeah, very cute. I want more of this stuff in the show in general. Soletta goes to try a nickname here. Mio Mio. She fucking hates it. Calling a friend by a nickname was near the top of my list. But come up with a better nickname, one that's less super lame. Again, I think Choo Choo's going to get involved here, and then we'll go from there. She's the queen of the nicknames. Our lead-in from here seems to be the proposal from Guel. Again, it's very clear to see why he likes her, right? You were finally the one that told me to break off the shackles of the father, embrace my own strength. I like to be with a person like that, so now I like you. And of course, he's very nervous about it initially because he knows that he has feelings now. Very funny. Again, even now offering a hand, calling him really strong. Oh, I'm actually infatuated with you. Grabbing onto both hands, down on one knee, and proposing. Has every episode ended with Soletta saying some equivalent of what? I think so. Episode 1 ends with the similar proposal type situation. Episode 2 ends with Miorine coming in and saying, hey, fucking, we're doing this thing. And then she's like, what? And then this one ends with like a what? So I think that's very funny. We're just doing the whole playbook, you know? I kind of talked about the ED already a little bit. I think the uniform stuff will start to come through after this as well. I think this is from the holder, gets this uniform change. Yeah, trapped in crystal. Trapped in crystal. Tomato crystal. I'm just wondering what that's trying to say thematically. Trapped in something we need to break out of, break the world shell, all that kind of BS, I think. Yeah, show's really good. I am pleasantly surprised continuously from this televisual program. Yeah, let me know if I'm missing anything. Again, I'm still broadly curious about the connection between the prologue into what's happening now with Prospera and Soletta. I think I'm not meant to know. I think the show knows that you have questions, so we're going to leave it. Other than that, I'm just keen to see more. I want to see more fights, more character development, all that kind of stuff. I think we've successfully established. Now it's time to start being a bit more fun, I think. Again, I think episode 3 went a long way in that regard. Lots of fun little character moments, lots of fighting, all that kind of stuff. We've got a big eclectic cast that we need to start addressing all that different stuff as well. So, yes. Good show. Really, really enjoying it. Thanks for voting for it, because it's kind of miserable when the show's shit. Not that that ever happens, really. Either way, Discord, Patreon, if you wanted to be that 1 week ahead, of course. Like the video, subscribe. I'm out of here. Thanks for watching. Catch you guys next week. Goodbye.